Changes are coming for this Toronto Raptors team, and it's already started because we've seen so many players overachieve over the course of the season under Darko Rajakovix, but with a lot of guys returning to injury, there's only so many minutes to go around. We've already seen the effects with guys on Chris Boucher with the return of Kelly Olynyk, and it's going to happen more and more over the coming weeks. So we'll discuss that and how the Toronto Raptors came out against a Dallas Mavericks team that were pretty fired up and had to not only fight off the refs, had to fight off a bad start, but still are following that, capturing that flag, pursuing that ethical tank, and really doing some exciting things out there on the basketball court. So we're going to dive into all of that in this video. But before we do, folks, we have a very exciting announcement, as this video is brought to you by Rentals.ca, who are proud partners of Team Canada. While they've been helping our national team defend their home court in international competitions, they've been helping thousands of Canadians find their home court all across the country, whether you're in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, Halifax, Winnipeg, Mississauga, Edmonton, Victoria, St. John's. From coast to coast, Rentals.ca can help you find the perfect place and price for you. Their website is clean, it's extremely easy to use, and you can pinpoint exactly on the map where you'd like to move and find, the perfect destination in your area. So check out Rentals.ca. The link to their website is in the description, as well as the pinned comment down below. And shout out to Rentals.ca for supporting our national team, for supporting not just this channel, but a bunch of channels that Digest Video. Been a very awesome partner for a very long time, but most importantly, for supporting you guys and helping you guys find your home court for your home place all across the country. Whether you're looking for a house, condo, apartment, whatever it is, genuinely check out Rentals.ca. Their link is down below. But let's dive into the news. Let's dive into what's going on for this Toronto Raptors team, because again, had a little bit of a heartbreaker last night. It was a really ugly start for the Toronto Raptors versus the Dallas Mavericks, but the team ended up coming out and losing 118 to 125 to Dallas. And Frank, I'll get it out of the way at the start because, well, the title change is coming. We'll discuss that because there's some interesting quotes from Darko Rajaković. The refs were bad. The refs were objectively horrible. It was a messy situation. Gradey Dick went on an absolute heater to close off this game. And, it was just, it felt like it was wasted with, the PJ Washington foul overturned, not getting overturned, whatever. And then not getting that call there at the end. It just sucked. It was frustrating, yes. But this Raptors team, we're not worried about wins or losses over the course of this year. This is a young rebuilding squad. We're year one of a rebuild. And even though the team has been playing better as of late, with the exception of that OKC loss, obviously with Jakob Poeltl out, this team just looks abysmal. Looked a lot better with Poeltl back into the lineup, right? Still some exciting things that are going on. But before we dive into actual analysis on the game, the big storyline, the big discussion that everyone's talking about following this loss to the Dallas Mavericks is what's going on with the rotations. Because guys like, Darko Rajaković came out starting this year talking, hey, I like running 10 men deep. I like running these, really long bench rotations and getting everyone opportunities, getting everyone a bit of look to run. And that start of the season that was happening, we saw guys like DJ, even with all the injuries that this team was sustaining, we saw guys like DJ Carden getting out in there in the mix. Bruno Fernando felt like he played every single game at the start of the season, and he was running that 10-11 man deep rotation, and it feels like that's something that he's gone away from a little bit. Fernando, obviously Carton completely fell out of the rotation when there was enough healthy bodies out there on the court, but this team has been significantly depleted. There's been so many guys out with injury over the course of this year, but we did get a return last night for Kelly Olynyk, and then that had a direct impact on one player's minutes, and that was Chris Boucher, who has been having a really solid season this year, a really nice bounce back year for Chris Boucher, averaging 10 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 0.7 blocks, and the three-point shooting percentage isn't great, but he's had some real nice heaters. When Chris Boucher is hot, that man is cooking. Right, it's almost a hit or miss thing with him, but 31 years old, he's at a crucial point in his career, contract season, a guy that really has earned his way into the rotation for the Raptors this year. But as you can see, going back to this box score, Chris Boucher, DNP coach's decision. Now, with these things, sometimes they don't get reported. Maybe he's injured, maybe he's not. Well, Darko Rajaković came out and directly addressed it. Said, he was fine, referring to Chris Boucher. We talked about it a couple of days ago. There might be some situations where he is going to be out of the rotation. He is a professional. And this is just a tough thing to see. And it makes complete sense. This is not me bashing on Darko Rajaković, Darko, fire the guy, because I know there's some, real big Darko haters out there, but Chris Boucher is a guy that I do think deserves to be in the rotation. I'll say that from the jump, but the reality is this team is a young rebuilding squad building for the future. That is the reality of what's going on. Chris Boucher, 31 years old, despite being, a mainstay with the Toronto Raptors, our last sort of, piece from that championship winning team, he is not a crucial piece for the future. And that was made clear when the Raptors traded for Kelly Olynyk last season. He was brought in to be the veteran player. He has some three-point shooting, and he's a much better passer than Chris Boucher, which frankly, is exactly what Darko Rajaković is looking for at that center position, at that forward sort of spot. It's why we drafted Jonathan Mobo, right? He loves, and a lot of people love, not just Darko, but, it is coaching search. He was openly speaking about this last season. He wants everyone out there to be a playmaker, not to be ball hogs, not to be just hoisting up shots. It's why we let Gary Trent Jr. walk for nothing. It's why Chris Boucher was out of the rotation last year. Now, again, when you have talent on your roster, when you have guys that can play effective, that can be impact players, you have to sort of coach around what would be the ideal situation, because Chris Boucher has been too good to keep out there on the bench over the course of this year with the energy, intensity he's playing with on the defensive end, and obviously all the stuff he does out there as a scorer, things like that. But with Kelly Olynyk back, in terms of vet players that are out there to help maximize the development of these younger guys, it's tough. It's a tough situation for everyone to get run, and it's not just going to be Chris Boucher. It's not going to be only Chris Boucher is going to be dealing with all of these issues, because right now, still, in this lineups right now with the rotation that we have, the guys that are available at this very moment, Jamal Shead, and everyone knows I am openly admitted I'm a Shead head. I love this man's future prospects for this Raptors team. Also, got a coach's decision DMP that feels like no one's talked about. Obviously, Fernando's there, but, Jamison Battle, also a guy, only got 4 minutes of action last night, despite being an elite three-point shooter for this team over the course of the season for the Toronto Raptors. So, minutes are sort of falling through the cracks right now, and we have not seen Immanuel Quickley return to the lineup just yet, and we have not seen Bruce Brown return to the lineup, and apparently both of those guys are expected to be back around mid-December. So we're talking, in the coming weeks. Now, again, do we rely upon a Bruce Brown return imminent? We've been hoping for this for a little while now. IQ's been in and out of the lineup. I'm sure more injuries will happen, but we are on that trajectory. We are on that point right now where players are returning to the lineup. They're returning to action. We're returning, into the mix for this Raptors team, and people are just going to be out of the rotation. So the reality is, some move changes are going to be incoming, because expect Jamal Shead, expect Jamison Battle, and Mobo has been so good, especially on the defensive end, in terms of passing and stuff, that he's in the rotation. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if one night Mobo gets 20 minutes and then, Jamison Battle doesn't get a lot of run. And then the other night, Jamison Battle comes out, gets a ton of rotation minutes, and then Mobo is kind of left with the short end of the stick out there in the rotation. So I don't think it's going to be a surefire thing night in, night out, which rookies will be playing. But I do expect Battle, Mobo, maybe even Jacoby Walter, definitely Jamal Shead, to be down there with the G League roster for stretches, for a long sort of periods of run. So that's kind of the reality. There just isn't enough minutes to go around unless the Raptors do blow some things up, at the trade deadline, which I don't think is an unrealistic possibility. But it sucks for Chris Boucher. It sucks for that sort of reality there. But again, that's kind of the main storyline people are running with from this game. But I do want to talk about the game briefly, because RJ Barrett had a hot first half, really struggled in the second half. Jakob Poeltl continues to be very, very effective. I mean, it is clear that Jakob Poeltl is probably the most important player on this team. Obviously not the most talented. Scottie, RJ, these types of guys are there. But in terms of impact, Jakob Poeltl is exactly that type of guy. But the one dude I do want to just shine some light on, just give some excitement, gas up a little bit, is Gradey Dick, because coming back from injury, he's had a little bit of a slow stretch, has dealt with some injuries, had a nuclear start to the season, but has cooled off, came back down to earth a little bit. But last night, in terms of his three-point shooting, his effectiveness as a scorer, just in all aspects of the game. Even the defensive end, that man is hustling, even though everyone's kind of dealing with annoying foul trouble and stuff, and just brutal calls. Gradey Dick does not let, he didn't deal with a bunch of foul trouble, but the momentum swinging things. Still went 5 of 14. Wasn't the most efficient night, but had 27 points last night's game, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and just the cojones on this man at the end of games to be able to hoist up shots, to be able to not the no say die attitude from Gradey Dick to come out and just be locked in and hit some really tough shots through all the adversity, through all the momentum swinging things, what usually affect your 3-and-D players first. I mean, shout out to Gradey Dick, man. This team has got a good one in Gradey Dick, but Mogo looked good. Jacoby Walter. It'd be nice for him to knock down a few more shots, but again, he's had such a tumultuous start to the season. It'll take him probably a month or so to really get back into a true rhythm, but I like the way that he's playing. And Kelly Olynyk, despite returning from injury, deal with back issues, which was one of the toughest injuries to return from. Only played 14 minutes. Knocked down all of his threes. Looked very, very confident, and proven why. Because people kind of were a little bit jaded on Kelly Olynyk because he wasn't in the rotation for Team Canada and stuff along those lines. But man, he's an impact player. He's an impact player out there for the Toronto Raptors. Again, do I want Chris Boucher to be getting no minutes? No, but you can't blame Darko Rajaković for, dealing with the cards that he's been dealt with. So hopefully Boucher isn't in the doghouse for long stretches for stuff like that. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You guys have the best thing as far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing down. Cheers.